Introduction to taxation, taxes and their functions, tax classification, basic elements of tax technique, tax system, tax principles, factors influencing tax systems. First, let's discuss about tax. Albert Einstein said that the hardest thing to understand in the world is the income tax. It is a sad fact that almost any country's taxation system is so complex that very few people will understand it completely, and yet the average citizen and business are expected to comply in full with the tax requirements that are applicable to them. The need of taxation. The economic resources available to society are limited, and so an increase in government expenditure normally means a reduction in private spending. Taxation is one method of transferring resources from the private sector to the public sector. Governments often use also other methods of raising resources. Taxation is usually the most important source of government revenue. Most countries have a tax system that differs from that of other countries. The characteristics of tax: monetary, mandatory, non-equivalent, non-specific charge or other levy imposed on a taxpayer by a state. Tax is implemented by law, and failing to pay taxes is punishable by law. Taxes can be paid regularly or occasionally based on certain conditions stipulated by tax legislation. Customs duties are also classified as taxes, as they are paid on imports of goods based on customs regulation. They are enforceable by law and are included in the revenues of national budget. The system of public incomes of the CR. Taxes are the basic and most significant source of public incomes. However, obviously they are not only source. Here we can see how the public income is generated. The functions of taxes. In the society, taxes fulfill the whole range of important functions, and their role implies from main economic functions of the public sector. The fiscal function is historically oldest one and is included in all three above mentioned functions. Allocation function. This function is asserted at symptoms of ineffectiveness of the market in allocation of sources. Taxes can have the influence on placing the means into the spheres or branches in which the state will be interested. In case when taxes fulfill this function, we can speak about so-called indirect financing or the tax support. Redistribution function. The redistribution function relates to redistributing incomes in the society. Taxes allow to moderate differences in incomes among people. This function allows to transfer incomes from individuals with higher incomes to the groups of population with lower incomes. Stabilizing function. The stabilizing function of taxes is an integral part of economic policy of the state, and by means of the taxes can contribute to cyclic swings in economy. In the period of prosperity, when incomes and consumption will grow fast, taxes take away a higher part into public budgets. It helps precede overheating of economy. On the contrary, in the period of stagnation, lower taxes help to start up the economy. Fiscal function. It is the primary function which ensures more money for the public budget. And at the allocation function, it gains financial means for financing the areas underestimated by the market. At the redistribution function, it is redistributing money with the aim to reduce at least partly the income and the social inequality in the society. And at the stabilizing function, incomes are regulated in accordance with the economic cycle. Now, let's classify the taxes. Taxes are mainly classified into two types. Those are direct and indirect tax, and these are divided on the base of income of taxpayer, and on the base of tax base, capital taxes and current taxes, and on the base of tax entity, individual, household, both spouses, all members of household, corporation, and by determining the value of taxes due to tax base, specific and ad valorem. Classification of taxes. Mainly there are two types of taxes, direct and indirect. Direct tax is paid directly from the taxpayer's income. It is supposed that direct taxes shouldn't be generally shifted to other taxpayers. Indirect taxes. Indirect taxes are supposed to be paid from the price charged by the taxpayer to the customer. The tax burden is effectively borne by the customer and not by the taxpayer who only collects the tax. Now, classification of taxes by tax base. Capital and current tax. Capital taxes based on a stock of something, for example wealth taxes, inheritance tax, etc. Current taxes based on a flow of something. Current taxes on income are income tax, corporation tax. Now, classification of taxes by determining the value of taxes due to tax base. Specific unit. Taxes which are based on the weight or size of the tax. Ad valorem. Taxes which are based on values. Next, the OECD classification. Now, these are the basic elements of tax technique: taxable subject, tax object, tax base, and tax rate.